mic, but well, Christian.
Yeah, what's up?
Glad to have you here, man. This is exciting. This is the beginnings of. I don't even think technically we have a name yet, but we're here.
Hey, I'm just glad I was here at the dawn of it all.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Yeah. So, Andy's got. Well, actually, I'll start with this. I thought it was kind of. I mean, I know Omaha's not a significantly massive city, but I thought it was kind of cool that we ran into each other at the gym.
It was
right after that
interesting,
happened.
especially because Andrew has sent me the address for your place literally minutes before, and I was like, man, it's in downtown. So like, I did not expect to see you at that gym because it's like completely out of the way, you know. And then you like stopped me, hey, you Christian? I was like, wow, somebody fucking recognizes me. Like, oh, that's cool, you know. My first celebrity moment, you know. I was like, yeah, I'm Christian. Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm Nolan. I was like, I literally just heard about you through text, like not even 10 minutes ago. So that was interesting, you know, how it all happened. But yeah, it's a small world, man.
I should have played it off more. I should have come up and been like, Christian Velez, senior.
I know. I was like, cool, what? yeah, it's cool. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember him from Prone or no, Prisoner?
I don't, man. I have a bad recollection, and honestly,
That's all.
were you helping out?
Yeah,
on
I was
set?
in the background and I was just goofing around.
Okay.
I wasn't like we were in the back and I was like just kept smoking the cigarettes and like I was like
okay, I think I remember that. I remember that group for sure. But I'm just horrible with faces, man, and like just name, you know. So I can't say I really remembered, but
yeah,
I remember him talking to me about you and the fact that we, you know, encountered each other the same day at the gym was pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very Midwest type of thing. I don't know, just like running into people. It's what, like people from Holdridge, which we're from. I feel like we run into more people that we know, like in Lincoln or Omaha.
Oh, really?
And like while we're out, like, you know, there.
Yeah, it happens to me with high school people. You know,
Yeah.
it's like people that you know from high school you never really talk to, but it's like I know you, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we should really say hi to each other. But like, you know, it's like I don't know if you even want to say hi to me. So it's like, all right, let's just try to pretend we don't see each other.
Yeah.
It's super weird when you're in LA when you run into somebody you know. It's just like,
I was like, I know, like, what are you doing here?
I think it's happened to me like twice. Like I ran into my old roommate in Home Depot. I hadn't seen like 2 years. I just ran into Home Depot.
That is
like,
really random.
I was like getting a stinger for one of my shoots. Like so, I was like, I didn't, you know, I had much time, but it's wild. And then I ran into somebody else from my school. It's like a
Everybody from Nebraska.
No, these aren't people from Nebraska. This is like people I go to school with.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, dude,
What's up, dude?
we talked about the monologues a little bit at the gym, but one of the questions I just wanted to, I think kind of the main point of this was just like to get to know you more. And I think in the beginning stages of wanting to be an actor and all these things, it's like there's a realm of like your voice isn't necessarily heard in the way like because when you see the people go on like a Joe Rogan or like these big podcasts,
Right.
or like even on Ellen DeGeneres or whatever, like they can talk about the come up and they don't necessarily remember it too well, but
Right.
being in it, what's that like for you? Like what's the end goal for you?
And the end goal for me, you know, I just want to be able to have a decent career and just pay the bills acting, you know, doing what I love. I don't want to have another job, you know, that kind of like right now, you know, mainly maintains me living, you know, and I barely gives me any time to, you know, go out and do projects or like really focus my full time into that. So the ultimate goal is just to be able to sustain my family and myself through acting. You know, I don't have to worry about, you know, having that second job or main job just to pay the bills, you know.
Yeah.
Want to be able to go do a project that gives me enough money like for the next couple months and just kind of keep on the grind and just eventually kind of sustain itself. Like that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that. I
I don't really care much about the, you know, fame, the, you know, celebrity status of it all. I really, you know, that kind of scares me. I don't really want to get to that point. And if it happens, you know, great. I'm not going to avoid it. You know, it's just part of the industry I'm trying to get into. But it is something that for sure, you know, makes me nervous just thinking about the whole, I can't really go in public because everybody type knows me, you know, like that part really does scare me. But, you know, it's part of the gig, you know.
Yeah.
I'm either here or I'm not type thing.
Yeah, that's very true. Dang.
Yeah.
So obviously Prone just came out.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. You got a couple questions regarding
Well, yeah, I guess, I mean,
Prone.
you and I, obviously, I directed that, you starred in it, so I'm going to be asking obvious questions between you and me, but nobody else knows. So how'd that come up then? Like, how'd you first hear about it? What was like the early?
I think I remember it being like September, October of last year. You sent me a message. I think I was working on a different script that I was reading or something else that I was kind of working on, and I get a message from you. It's like, hey, how you been? You know, I'm doing good. I think I might have something for you. Okay, you know, shoot it up, see what you got cooking. You know, you sent me the script. You said you wanted me for, you know, the main character, Hammond. I read it, and, you know, from that moment, I just fell in love with it. I just thought it was just so grounded and just so real with, you know, everything that goes on with, like, between, you know, marriage couples and, like, you know, how people might get too soon into relationships and just completely everything just falls apart because it was just not a really strong structure beforehand type thing, you know, and just kind of, I got that vibe from it, you know, and the fact that the guy was constantly working, barely at home, you know, the wife, you know, per se, constantly on her mind, trying to figure out what to write, you know, in a way I kind of relate to that, you know, like it's a similar industry or it's part of the same industry, you know, trying to be a screenwriter and trying to come up with stories. So like, you know, that being the one thing you love, you want to try and put as much time into it, you know, but that doesn't always pay the bills, and where you're the one, you know, having to sustain all that without similar interests, it does put a toll, and you know that's kind of where I related with Hammond, that you know, he just had to kind of sustain that whole weight and try to bring the money as much as he could, because everything was kind of running out, you know, from the original script that she sold and all that, and that just kind of put a toll. And I try to do my best with, you know, trying to get into his mind, trying to understand where he was coming from, and you know, just give the best I could. You know, once we got to shooting.
Yeah, I like that. I think you played it really well. So props. But
thank you.
Yeah, just that piece. Like one of my favorite shots is when Hammond comes back to the kitchen and he gets home. Yes. And he like washes that plate, and she comes in, like she's there, and she like walks away like she's upset or whatever. But it's like he's at a point where he's so tired. And just exhausted from everything, where it's like it's not even worth it to be like
even starting an argument.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like I feel like they've been, and I pushed to Andrew at the beginning stages of shooting. It's like, hey, I think we should have a big argument scene. I feel like we should have something that kind of shows how deep into the we can't stand each other, you know, they are type thing. But like when I saw the movie, and I just saw how it literally just portrays that. You know, we don't even need a big argument scene because they can barely talk to each other. You know, they don't even like to see each other, be around each other. Just already tells and shows so much that, you know, just a big, you know, going back and forth wouldn't really change much of what we got from the, you know, from the scene. So I do like that opening scene in particular. It really just kind of sets up the stage for what you're going to experience, you know, between the couple, and it's just a perfect introduction right there for sure.
Yeah. Have you? I don't know. I guess I've seen your work that you've done with him, and then Psycho Money, obviously. Have you had the chance to be in a feature length piece yet, or?
Yes, I've been in a feature length. When I first started here, it's called Level Up. I worked on that back in 2018, I believe. I would say that would be my first feature. It's kind of hard for me to kind of, I guess Pigface would have been another feature film that I did. That was a horror film. Pigface, yeah. That was really fun to shoot. We shot that actually last summer, I believe, or maybe 2 years ago. You know, ever since COVID, timing is just all over the place. I can't tell you, you know, which was when, but I would say that was my second one.
What are the people in your life like around you when? Because I know with certain, I guess, career choices in ways, some people can be negative and say, "Why don't you just do this and then do that on the side and not focus on that?" And if you get lucky with it, then go with it. Do you feel like you hear that a lot in your circles, and are people pretty supportive?
Yeah, my family is, I'd say really supportive. There's a difference between being supportive and just kind of trying to be realistic with how everything, goes. Like, for example, like my dad, he loves what I do, and he's one of my number one fans, but he's always, trying to make sure I have a constant, income, so like he always says, like, hey, make sure you don't leave your job yet until this thing is like secure, like, and I get where he comes from, like as of now, unfortunately, it doesn't feel like a hobby because I don't want it to be a hobby, but the amount of time that I can really put into it, because it's not really fulfilling me financially, it could be considered a hobby. It's just when I get the time, I can try and do it, or like I gotta try balance both, my full-time job and this, and like I hate considering in that, but it's just, it is what it is. I just really don't have the means to fully put my 100% time into it, and I feel like once I do, it'll fulfill, because I do see good things coming out of this, and there's people that really would like to see me doing more stuff. So like I know some good stuff would come, but I'm just not there yet. But I know once it happens, I'm excited to see what comes out of it. But other than that, everybody's really supportive. It's just you gotta have money.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. They're supportive. Something I thought of too was just like, out of any role you've played, and this will lead into a question about method acting that Andy has, but one of the questions I had is like, what role, or if it hasn't happened, that's obviously okay or whatever, but has there been a role that you walked into that you were like almost became frustrated or maybe just annoyed, where you're like, I don't even know how to approach this? Like at first maybe you thought you had it, and then as you got to know the character more, you were like, I don't even know how to approach this. Like, how do I get into this headspace? Like, I've never been in this headspace. How do I get there?
It's interesting because that would be Hammond for Prone for sure. I think it was one of the most like challenging characters I've done so far, in my career, if you can call it a career. That's what it is now. But that was definitely the most challenging. It's just his headspace was so gloomed and like just depressed in a way, and like me getting into that headspace and getting into that character, I definitely felt that personally, because I was trying to give the best performance I could. I saw this is my first lead role. Before then, it was a big weight on my shoulders to try and do the best I could. And I've worked with Andrew before, and I know his work is amazing, so I knew this was going to be amazing. So it was like, man, I gotta definitely bring my A game to this. So what really helped was that Andrew sent us a kind of like a biography of the character. He wrote this really well written just introduction to the character, like where he came from, his name, his family, how he relates to his family, all that, how he met Ashley and whatnot. So like I read that over and over. The one thing I couldn't do, because I just didn't really have the time, was to watch the film that he wanted me to watch as reference, which was Old Man. What was that called? No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he mentioned to watch that as reference, which I just didn't.
Josh Brolin's character in No Country for Old Men.
So I couldn't really do that, but just having that reference available, for me to really read it and just try to get into that headspace really helped. For sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's big time. Yeah, I mean, again, I think you did a really good job in it.
Well, thank you.
I want to ask a question about how'd you feel about doing your own stunts?
About doing my own stunts?
In Prone.
Oh,
The four-wheeler was definitely like
yes,
basically a stunt. Because I know I just kind of, I was like, hey,
four-wheeler, yes.
You ever driven a four-wheeler before? Like once. I was like,
yeah, okay. Like 10 years ago maybe was the last time I got on one. No, that was actually really exciting, man. Like I love doing my own stunts. I never really had a lot of opportunities, to really do any stunts besides that, Level Up film, which was like a martial arts type vibe, and I got to like do some fighting and whatnot on that one. But besides that, I haven't really done anything crazy. Besides another project, which I don't know if you guys seen, it's called Suicide Painter. I had to stand up on top of like a 8-story building and just stand on the ledge for a 2-second scene that I had to do, and that was interesting. Wow. I guess, no wonder why I didn't remember, because I kind of blocked that out of my memory. But that would have been the most craziest stunt I've had to do. I'm thankful that I'm still here. But no, that 4-wheeler for sure was kind of nerve-wracking in a way. I was like, man, I'm excited to do this. I was like, I haven't done this in a while, and I try to get some of my buddies that I know they have 4-wheelers, just trying kind of get the vibe on it, before shooting. But it just, just timing is key and everything, and it just didn't really work out. So I just did it in a day, backed it out of the trailer on my own. That was interesting. That was I guess that would have been the most scariest part of the whole thing. But
I remember I was like rolling for so much of that.
I know,
but like none of it's in there. But it's just like, well,
we'll just get it when we get it type thing. Yeah, I know, because it took me a minute to really get into the headspace of like, all right, just back out, don't move too much, because otherwise you're just gonna, go out the ramp or whatnot. But hey, we got it done, and once I was out of the trailer, it was just kind of freeing from there. I just started writing it, got the hang of it, and we started shooting, and that was really cool.
That day was pretty hectic.
Yeah, I had my contacts on that day. That was like the first film I've done with contacts, and it was horrible because they got so dry from all the dust. So like by the end of the shoot, when we were at your house or your brother's house shooting some of the scenes, my eyes were just tired and red, and I think you can see it in the film. I might be like messing with my eye or like kind of doing like a weird twitch, and if you've seen Prone and you notice that, it's because my contacts were bothering me. They're bothering the fuck out of me at that point. So.
It's perfect though, because it's after a long day of work and you're like, your eyes are red.
For sure, yeah. And I'm not. Yeah, I guess it did work out. It did work out when you think of it that way. But I just not really get used to. I'm not used to contacts. So that doesn't really help.
Yeah.
I got a 20-minute limit on that guy.
Is it 20 minutes?
Yep.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. That one will run forever, basically.
Run until next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Until next week. Hey.
No.
The whole sleepover over here.
Yeah. Did you want to your method acting question? You got to.
Well, I guess I'm because the method has been people take it different ways. So I'm just curious. I want to kind of hear how you would explain what you think when you hear somebody say like I'm gonna go method for this role, or like maybe you go method.
Yeah, I'd say method acting is different for everyone. There might be like a specific definition, but not everybody would kind of relate to that. What I consider method acting, or as far as I would go, for method acting, is to really try and inhabit that character and portray it in a way that you just completely lose yourself and you don't feel like yourself anymore. It's probably not what other people would consider method, but like that's as far or like as comfortable I would go with method. Just kind of really trying to understand him and try to understand his life and where he comes from, and just go out there and like start delivering the lines, and you just really don't think as you really feel like you're a complete different person, and everybody can feel that and sense that. So like that's what I like about method. And like another thing I would love to do, because I'm definitely not a Jared Leto, will never be that extreme, but well, now that we're talking about method acting, like one of like the biggest challenges that I want to do in my career, or a character that I would love to play, is just a character that would take an extensive amount of makeup, that it would just make me look completely different than what I look. That's something I want to be able to do at some point in my career. I want to be able to kind of Christian Bale wise in like those roles that he's played, where like he's not super crazy. He is super crazy with method acting too, when it comes to like the weight loss and whatnot. But just the fact that he can be put on makeup and just completely lose himself. And that's something I want to do, you know. I don't see myself really losing a lot of weight or gaining a lot of weight, but I want to be able to just become someone else through the performance, but also through the look, you know, that when I'm seeing it, it's like, yeah, that's me. I don't sound like me. I'm not acting like me, but I still look like me, you know. But like, I want to be able to see myself and be like, wow, that's a completely different person, you know. But also try to show that through the delivery of the lines and the performance. So
you just want to sit in a makeup chair for 9 hours. Then.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it sounds horrible when you think about it. It's like, man, waking up at 3 a.m, freaking staying there 7-9 hours just to be ready to shoot by like 10 or whatever, you know. I don't know if the math made sense, but anyway, you know, it sounds horrible when you see all those interviews about, you know, like Batista talking about Drax and all that stuff. So like, or Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, you know, but something about it just seems rewarding. You know, something about it just seems like those 9 hours that you spend in the chair, once you go out and like, you know, deliver your thing, and like, even if the outcome is great, you know, you won't really think about that once it's done, you know. So
I think the thing with method that I've seen that I think is cool, so like for an example, is we were talking about this yesterday, and it kind of segues later to the superhero movie question, but like you see Dwayne The Rock, like he'll play Black Adam, right? Yeah. But when he plays that, he's playing Black Adam, but he's also playing himself because he's such a big name. He's a household name.
Yes.
Same with like Ryan Reynolds. Really, any role he plays, he's still playing himself.
In a way, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
But then there's the method. What movie was I thinking of? I don't know if you've seen the new Elvis or not.
Yes. Oh,
dude,
one of my favorite movies of this year.
Me too.
Hands down.
Yeah, I remember.
His whole voice completely changed.
Yeah, he doesn't even talk like himself anymore. Like
no,
I don't even know if he'll ever talk like himself again.
Right.
Like, I've seen recent interviews and he still sounds like he's got, you know, Tennessee or Memphis accent and like really deep voice. I was like, wow, man.
Like Elvis.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what was the cool thing about that. It's like, you watch a movie, you go in and you watch a movie and you appreciate it, like Black Adam or something. You go, okay, yeah, that was good.
Right.
That was all right. And you leave. But then something with Elvis, it's like he invested those 2 years before where he's like, he didn't really see his family a whole lot. Like he went to Dixieland or whatever it's called, where Elvis
Graceland?
What is it?
Graceland?
Graceland, yeah, sorry.
Dixieland.
I was thinking of Dolly Parton.
There we go. It's a whole different celebrity, man.
Yeah. But like, so he goes there and he invests that, and like he meets Priscilla and like he does all these things. And he just gets so deep into that role, like where, his voice literally changes, and he learns how to sing and learns how to dance. And he said for like 2 years, all he listened to was Elvis. All he did. So like he was really deeply obsessed and entrenched with one person. So that's my question is, obviously, if in a hypothetical, because I think it would be awesome, like for me, I was like, I would love to do that. But if you were given the opportunity, like where financially, you obviously didn't have to work, and they're like, hey, we're going to pay you X amount, but like for 2 years, you're going to have to just become this person. Like, is that something that, I mean, it's exciting off the bat, but it's like, what do you think, like what kind of would run through your head with that?
I mean, I'll be honored, you know, if I ever get that opportunity. You know, I can't say that I wouldn't do it right now, you know, because this is what I'm trying to do, you know. And I guess it would depend. It would depend on the character. It would depend on the story and whether it's really worth putting all that time into it. Like, he was playing Elvis. He's one of the biggest names, you know. I would have put the time as well, you know. Everybody has a certain image in their head and a certain sound in their head of how Elvis is supposed to sound and how he is supposed to look, you know, and how he's supposed to dance, how he's supposed to sing. So, you know, I think it depends on who you're really playing and how big of an, you know, impact that character person has in the outside world that, you know, would kind of decide whether it's worth really putting in the time or it just should be another performance type thing. You know, if I would get the opportunity to play you know, an icon like that, I will definitely put in the work. You know, I want to be able to, you know, I want to be able to do a performance that when people go and see it, they don't really think about, that's just Christian playing this guy type thing. You know, I want them to really feel like they're watching that character. You know, and that's the ultimate goal as an actor. You know, like in anything that I do, you know, and anybody always brings a little bit of themselves in whatever character they play, but I always try to make him as different as I can. You know, I try to, study them as much as I can and just try to find a different voice. It might sound like it might not, for people who've seen my work, but that's what I try to do with everything I work on. So yeah, if it comes to it, and if it makes sense to really put in the work, and if it makes sense for everybody to really enjoy it and like really love it, then yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to really, I love the process. So like a 2-year process to really just become that person. So when you go on set, you're not nervous about what you're doing, that changes it all. Because like being nervous on a big set like that, especially playing Elvis, that's not something you want to do. So you want to be able to feel as much as you can like himself, and get the support of everybody around him, like him getting to meet Priscilla and all that. Just getting that initial support, I bet it really helps. So like I feel like that's important for when you're playing a character like that.
Did you start like so it's a double question. Did you do theater in high school, and then also how did you start like getting into acting? Because I have a little bit of I have something in my head that I want to think about, but you gotta answer the question first about theater.
Okay, so no, I've never done theater. I mean, I did a
right
play.
Answer.
I did Our Town.
I mean,
What did you say?
so that's the right answer.
Oh,
I mean, no.
yeah, yeah. I've done a play. I've done, I did Our Town at UNO when I was going there. Actually, no, I was already out of UNO when I did it. I just auditioned for it and got a part there. But anyway, I was never a theater kid growing up. I was never I want to be in plays type thing. Just never. The standing up in front of people really gave me anxiety. And now that I go back, now that I'm talking about this, back in Puerto Rico, I used to do a lot of talent shows, but somehow I was never really interested in going to the plays. I remember in elementary school when they would have like the yearly talent show, I would pick a song and I would, stand up front and like really sing. I was nervous, but once I got there and started singing, it was just, it was great. But somehow as I got older, it just kind of gave me anxiety to even do that. So like I kind of stopped doing that. And I remember once I went to like middle school, there was like this little theater. It was like a drama class. It wasn't even like a theater class. It was more like a drama class. And like we did some like impressions and some like, weird scenes that really didn't really resonate with me. I never really kind of like try to pursue anything at that point. Then we moved to Nebraska, and like I just kind of forgot about it. I guess growing up I always kind of wanted to do something artistic related, because I did some painting too. I used to paint. I used to really enjoy art class and all that. I did a couple paintings and whatnot, but over time just kind of all faded away for whatever reason. But then in high school, when I moved here, I was watching the movie The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And I don't know, something about that movie, just seeing Logan Lerman, who I knew from Percy Jackson at the time, play a complete different character than what he was in Percy Jackson. And he just like really do an amazing job at it. And I was like, man, I love it. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's like when you're registered like an actor playing different roles.
Exactly. At that point, it just kind of, the whole concept of acting just sparked and it made sense. And I was like, wow, I know this kid from Percy Jackson. He's playing a complete different thing in this, Perks of Being a Wallflower. It was the same thing with, who was that? Emma Watson playing a character in that movie. Yeah. I knew her from, Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies, and like I grew up with those movies. But they were just movies, movies were just movies at that point in my life. But just watching that specific movie and seeing Hermione played a complete different character with an, American accent, and then seeing Percy playing a complete different character, and like just seeing that emotional scene he has towards the end, and after you find everything out, and I was like, wow, this is just, I want to do that, And then I started looking up the guy, and he was, at the time that he did that movie, I believe he was my age. I think he was like around, 17 or 16 years old at the time, maybe a little older. But I know I somehow related to him in the fact that we were really close in age. So like from that moment forward, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I just want to be able to, tell stories like that and just be able to be a Percy, but also be able to be a complete different character, and just people have, you know, enjoy it in a way, you know. So
yeah,
from that moment forward, I just started pursuing it, and you know, here I am, like, doing a podcast talking about it, you know.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Yeah,
that's kind of, I like that piece because we've talked a lot, and I don't think it's impossible to get out of it, but because we've done a few pieces just for fun, like a few years ago now, we did one with one of our friends from high school, but he was a big theater guy, and he was really good at theater. But every time he'd get in front of the camera, it was just...
It switched.
There was no switch.
No, I think that his personality when you said action, it completely switched.
Oh yeah,
on like this
I get what you're saying.
Stage.
Yeah, he would
way of talking that's not natural. But to give him whoever credit, I don't know if it's him or me. What? Cut that. I think.
Cut.
No. It's all staying in. It's all part of the bit.
For people who are curious why Andrew's nervous, we do have a live studio audience here.
Yeah.
There's like 100 people, so that's why he
just hang tight, please. Right?
Let's take that back from one. So to give him credit, it worked for the
Boston.
We weren't.
He wouldn't care.
No,
Boston,
Phoenix, Arizona. I was gonna say cities. Yeah, Manhattan.
His name was Boston Pettit. But when we were playing it,
give him credit. It worked. That his delivery worked. That's all I was trying to get out.
For that.
And I know, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it worked for like what we were doing. You're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was like a weird, kooky kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just like when you watch something and you can tell a great actor versus someone who's not great. Obviously, is the great actors, you forget that they're acting. You're just watching them tell a story, like you had said, which I liked. Versus someone who's just, it looks like they're reading off a cue card, and they're not just saying
you can easily tell for sure.
Yeah, they're not like reading like, hey, can you come back here? They're like, hey, can you come back here? And it's like, whoa.
It's like the method, basically. It's like, to me, the difference between like with method acting and regular acting is you're acting, and with the method you're feeling. That's the big difference. Not really. That's just the only.
I thought of it that way.
Like you said, you can tell if somebody's acting, like, and then versus they're actually feeling that emotion.
Yeah, no.
Which stage? I don't know. I guess theater. Like I have a huge theater background. I worked on crew like in high school, but no like slight to theater, because theater obviously is a huge, like Broadway and all that. Like that obviously like a huge. It's just just because it's both acting, it seems like it shouldn't be different. Like on paper, but obviously it's hugely different.
It's it is different, and I love theater.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a great foundation for any actor to start at theater, and just it tells you about projecting. It tells you to learn your voice. It teaches you how to really feel yourself and like be in your body type thing. There's a lot of great things that come from theater, but there's just the projecting part of it is what it might be hard for some people to like tone that down when it comes to film. And that's why I wouldn't say prefer film, but I love film more, because I am normally a quiet person. I'm really hard at projecting. I'm just on sets it's sometimes hard. I guess it would be like my main struggle to like for the mic to catch me or whatever. Like I'm normally a quiet person, so like film and having microphones and having booms and all that really helps me stay in character and like give a good performance without having to really exaggerate it. And that's the thing with theater. You need to exaggerate a lot of it because you have a full theater with audience and you want to make sure they hear you. So like a lot of it just doesn't really translate to film if you act the same way you would act in theater, because it just would feel like too much.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about film. There's a natural aspect of it, and like just a grounded aspect that you can have a nice emotional scene and performance without having to really project a lot of it. And like I feel like that sometimes takes away from an emotional scene, for example.
Yeah, it's like there's the only analogy at the moment I can think of is F1 driving, where it's a course, versus NASCAR, where it's just a circle. Right. And I'm not saying who is what in this scenario because they're both great, but it's hard to be good at both F1 and NASCAR. So I think people like Hugh Jackman who excel in Broadway and on film, I'm like, that's really impressive.
Yeah,
because like for me, theater, I could never do theater. Like I tried it once, but I just was like, oh, this is just a lot. Because I'm talking to this person here, but I'm also trying to get my voice and facial expressions to reach the guy.
I struggled with that as well, you know, so I can relate there. I did one play, and, like, it was the most anxiety I've had throughout. You know, at some point, it'll come down. Like, yeah, you know, you feel comfortable, like, an hour into it or whatnot. But just the whole having a full audience and, like, you know, there's just no cut. There's no pausing. So you really need to know your stuff, you know. So, like, and that's why I think it's important for actors to really go through theater, because it helps you really in the memorizing aspect of it. It helps you in, like, you know, having to be ready on the day instead of just kind of like, you know, I'll just, in between takes, I'll check my lines, you know, and get them ready for when we shoot, you know. Excuse me. I feel like a lot of actors do that. And just having a good theater background would definitely help you with, you know, memorizing and, like, kind of get ready. But, yeah, no, man, being in front of a lot of people, you know, in the theater scene, it really gives me anxiety. So it takes me a long time to really prepare myself for it. But, you know, once I'm there, I figure it out. I've only done it once, so I can't really talk like I've done it multiple times, you know. But it's not something I'm opposed to. You know, I just really don't have the time to do theater. You know, theater is definitely like really time consuming, and, you know, rehearsals and all that, and, you know, tech and whatnot. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I just unfortunately don't have the time. But if I did, I would probably be involved in both, you know, film and theater, which I would prefer film. But I know theater, it's a great practice as an actor, really, you know, hone your skills and all that.
Yeah. Do you want to do the ad read? I'm just kidding.
The what?
I said the ad read.
Ad read?
Yeah,
Brugger's Bagels. Do you want to do the segment? So when we have a director on, we'll do director versus actor. So when a director's on, we do a segment where we say, all right, think of a movie or something, right? And we say, pitch it to us quick, like an idea. So then with the actor on, this segment is, we'll give Andy a second, but Andy's going to pitch. If you want to do this, Andy's going to pitch to you like a quick thing.
Oh, like a character.
Right, yeah. And then you'll just look into the camera and do it. Like, it's kind of like a fun little, like.
Wow. All right. I'm not great at impressions, so let's just not.
Have you seen Jimmy Fallon when they hit the button and then, like.
Yeah, I know.
It's like that, but it won't be as outlandish.
Crazy. All right.
Shit.
All right, okay. A late night show host first night. He's 5 minutes on the air, like stepping out and like come out to the crowd doing his first opening monologue. He's got 5 minutes.
Wow,
that's pretty good, dude. I should have pre-recorded all this stuff. I would have put the clapping and cheering in.
I thought you just said I should have hit record on the mics.
No.
Dang, we should probably start recording. Yeah. All right. You have 1 minute.
You got 1 minute. Well, there's no pressure at all, huh? So. Damn. I'll have to cut a lot of this out. Yeah, I'm definitely not meant to be a talk host show, so I apologize for how this turns out. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to finally be here, opening my own show, and being in front of everybody here. It was a huge dream of mine to be able to like sit down here and just talk with celebrities and just get to meet them, because what better way of, making money and meeting celebrities than just getting here and just asking random questions. So, I appreciate you guys for giving me the time, and let's see who we got back here tonight. All right, thank you. You guys be ready. It's going to be a good show. Yeah.
Hey, that was pretty good, dude. Hey. You can't hear this, Andy, but I'm playing crowd cheering.
That sounds great.
It sounds great for us.
I felt in the moment. So.
You just gave away wearing headphones for no reason.
So Andy's headphones are a prop.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good, dude.
Well, thank you. I think I'm fucking.
I like it because it's just random on the spot. It's kind of.
I know, man. My anxiety kicked in real quick.
Play a horse that's gonna go get
people out there listening to you.
I know. What's your thing? Was good. All right.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get ready for more of that stuff. Like I'm horrible for spot stuff.
On the spot, yeah.
Yeah, hey, it was fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
we don't. What's that?
Probably have to think about wrapping up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to keep you too long, but I do have a few more questions.
I'm okay.
Perfect. And then, did you have any more questions?
We'll have a closing question.
I know you've asked a lot of questions, but you're a man of many words. That's good. If in your head, so if you haven't, I'm gonna preface this. If you haven't watched this, it's more than okay. Did you get a chance to watch The Disciples?
No, okay. I have not. No.
So that
you gotta watch it.
This
guy puts in some good work, and I want to tell you something. There was no script to that, so when you watch it, just keep that in mind. These guys are making that stuff up the whole way.
Almost the whole thing is practically.
There's one scene where it's written,
and you can see the guy reading cue cards in the back. It's
we don't need it.
You can see him going like this. He's reading it, and he goes. And then he looks back, and I'm like trying to get the cue card as close to his head as I can.
I'm interested to watch it now.
Some guy's dad, okay? Give him a break. Come on.
It's just some guy's dad. No, but that whole movie was. This is the whole preface right here. I'm getting somewhere with this, but that movie kind of came to me. So I used to live in Chicago for a year.
Okay.
And I was in Chicago, and I just kept seeing like all this stuff about like Capone and Frank Sinatra and all this like stuff, right? And then obviously just the downtown. The city, and then I went to New York City to visit it for a whole day, and I just was there, and I just like, it just breathed something into me and inspired me, and I came back, and then it was COVID, and we were back, and we were like, we have all this time, what are we gonna do? And I remember I called Andy, I was with my friend Jeff, and I was like, dude, we should shoot like a Italian mob movie and just see what happens, you know, because I got a little Italian in me, so I was like, let's see if I can get it to come out. So we went and we like shot it. We started it in 2020 and we ended it last year?
Yeah, we
like
finally got it out.
Final shot. So it's just a compilation of things that is not scripted together. It's just a mashup, and it's just like, let's see how it goes. But
that is awesome.
So yeah, I really enjoyed making it, but my question for you is, that was just a birth of like things that inspired me. I was like, dang. Like I was like, we should do this. Like, this is cool. Is there anything in your mind that like that you've thought of, like you see a role or you do something and you're like, man, I'd be sick if there's a camera here and I'm like, I want to shoot something like this. Like, do you have a movie in your mind or like a short film where you're like, I want to make this one day.
Role,
like a character, even if it's not a movie, but maybe in your head you create somebody. Like you're like, yeah, Cristiano. It's like my alter ego. Like, I want to play
Cristiano
him.
Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Ronaldo. What my girlfriend calls me. I don't have anything specific, per se, but I do have a lot of ideas that I've, tried to write over the years. I've had, before I got into acting, I was writing this book in a way. In high school, I just completely stopped, never really went back to it. But that's one of those things that I recently try to pick up and like turn it into a web series. Stuff like that. Like, I don't have anything really fleshed out. I don't have anything that I was like, yeah, I really, really want to do this, because I struggle with, writer's block, and like I try to get something down and it's just, I don't think it's ever going to be good enough or whatnot. So I just go, stop. But, now that you said, when you mentioned the whole, I wish there was a camera here type thing, ever since I started doing this whole acting thing, not now as much, but I know originally, my early days, it was, I felt like I was constantly recorded. It's like no matter what I did, I always tried to like, come up with something like in my head, or like, try to, talk to the camera and just kind of like get a scene, fictional scene going. So like, I kind of relate to that. There's a lot of times where I kind of imagine myself, in a constant movie set, and I feel like it helped me, kind of get into that mindset and just kind of get ready for, whatever, life brought down the road, and all the amazing projects I've been able to do. But, it doesn't happen as much. The main thing right now that happens, which I think this might be a segue, is that I can't watch movies the same way I used to. Yeah. 'Cause I'm constantly judging it. Yeah. Constantly like, it's just not a movie for me. It's like, man, I wonder how they did that. It's like, I wonder what he was thinking doing this scene, or like, you know, it's like, man, I bet that would have hurt, you know. So like, you know, stuff like that, like it's you know, it runs through my mind. Every single movie I watch, every single show, it just a constant of like, one, I wish I was there. It's like, man, I wish I was in this thing. You know, I want to be able to be in that, you know, big production project or whatnot. So like, I start thinking, it's like, I wonder how they did it. You know, I wonder how long it took him to memorize this. I wonder, you know, just lots of wonders.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Dang. I didn't even think of that.
I know. Yeah, when you think about it, it's like, wow, I really don't watch movies the same either.
Yeah.
So yeah, think about that. It's wild.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and you don't really realize when it changed. You know, movies. I mean, I love watching movies, and I'll still love them for what they are. But it's hard for me to really not think about that stuff while I'm watching it. You know, I can't just sit down and just watch it for the story, because I'm constantly thinking of, you know, what the actors went through and like what it took to really get it made, type thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Andy,
what you got going on this weekend?
What I got going on this weekend?
That's his closing question.
I'm doing some moving, helping my girlfriend's dad move. So that's the exciting thing I'm doing this weekend.
You get the opportunity to help.
Throwing those words in case he sees this.
For sure.
I'm blessed to have the opportunity.
Yeah, I am helping somebody move into a new place, so it's, you know, I'm really grateful. I got the honor to help out, move some couches. So, but yeah, no, that's about as much as I got going on. You know, just back to work next week. You know, keep on that hustle, full-time job, but. Yeah.
What's the next? This is my last question for you, because I really do think I could just sit here and talk for like 4 hours, but
I'm good. If you guys got some more questions, you know, I don't really have any deadline now, so you know, anytime.
What's coming up next for you? What's next? Do you have anything outside of NDA that you can talk about that you didn't sign on?
Yeah, I don't really have anything NDA related. I kind of wish to be like, nah, I can't really talk about it.
When does Snack Shack come out? You know?
I believe, from what I've heard, I believe it comes out next summer.
For people that don't know what that is, that was like a decently sized indie film that was shot in Nebraska City, right?
Yeah,
and it was SAG affiliated, right?
Yeah, SAG film.
So the guy in the new Spielberg movie that's playing Spielberg, the kid, I mean, he's in that.
Yep,
I didn't realize that. It's like second movie.
Did you work with him?
I did. I do
that's
have
insane.
a scene.
He was so good in the Fable. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't. Have you seen it? I want to see it so bad. I have not seen it.
Everybody's like talking about other stuff in that movie, like other performances. I mean, but I thought Gabriel was so good.
Yeah, no, I heard great things, and I'm really excited to watch it. Mainly because I worked with the guy, you know. So like,
awesome.
It's really cool to have had the chance of
Spielberg, basically,
you know, working on a project like that, and then seeing some of the, you know, people you work with do other stuff, you know. So like it's awesome to really see that, and like that's one of the main reasons I want to watch it. One, because it tells Spielberg's story, but also, you know, I want to see Gabriel kind of, you know, do what he does best. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to watch that. But the movie The Snack Shack is kind of like a semi-autobiographical movie, you know, based on softly based on the director's life.
Yep.
You know, in Nebraska City. He is from Nebraska City, so that's mainly what it is. You know, just a couple kids having fun, you know, and getting in trouble over the summer of like 1990 something.
Days of Confused vibes.
Yeah. So it's like it's based in the 90s. So it was really cool to get into that, you know, kind of mindset, and like, you know, work with the costume department to really get into that. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
It was a great opportunity. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
To come out.
I'm curious if you relate with this feeling at all. Obviously, yeah, so you work a full-time job. I work a job. And it's like, sometimes you find a little life in that. Sometimes you're like enjoyment and time passes or whatever. It's obviously not what you want to do, but I'm curious if you relate with this feeling. But I know, like, when we shot Disciples, even when we just shoot some fool around stuff, when that happens, I feel like it's not that time doesn't move or it moves slow. It's just like, in that moment, I'm like, I feel relaxed.
Yeah, this
like
is
the
my
dopamine.
happy place.
Yeah, it's my happy place where I'm just
sure.
like, I don't care if time moves fast or slow, because as long as we're doing something, I love it, you know?
Yeah, no, I relate to that, man. Like, just, you know, shooting the Snack Shack, for example, we did like a 12-hour day shoot for like my second scene. You know, I got there at like 8 p.m. was my call time. I didn't get into costume until like 10. and then we didn't get to shooting until like 1. And that was just
lunch was at 2 a.m.
No, we didn't. No, we had already ate prior to that. But you know, and that was not even shooting. That was just setting up for the shot. Yeah. So we didn't actually start shooting until like maybe 3 in the morning, and then we did that a couple times, and we didn't get done until like 6. You know, so it was a long night, but something about it just felt so rewarding. And like, man, I could do this again tonight. You know, as soon as I got done, and I went to the hotel room because, you know, I just didn't really want to drive back home at that time. But I just kind of laid in bed, and I was like, wow, it's just one of the best nights of my life. You know, like it just, I would definitely do this again and just take a 5-hour nap and just go back at it again. You know, like when you're doing what you love, you know, nothing else really matters. Like, it doesn't matter how, you know, hard it was or like how tiring it was, man, because it got to the point where we were all disoriented in there. Yeah. And I was like, man, it's 4 in the morning, like I'm doing this again. I was like, shit, I'm tired as hell, you know. But something about that was really fun, you know, and it gave me enough energy to really, you know, pull through and do the best as I could, you know, especially in front of, you know, all the, you know, amazing people that were involved in this film. So yeah, it's I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah,
it's a happy place for sure.
You're like, I don't care how long this takes.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I do it for another 3 hours, but you know, it was a night shoot, so we had to kind of cut it at some point.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of the hope this summer, and I kind of talked to you about it at the gym, but just that's kind of the hope that this summer, and I obviously it still stands. I would love for you to be in the Disciples, and we're still writing the script, and there's still a lot of, I think, thought that has to go into it of just the direction we want to take it, but that's kind of the hope and dream for this summer. Is I want to walk away. I want to get done. You know, I want to drop a tear and be like, that was awesome.
There we go.
Like just being able to be around these people, you know, and just building these like characters and like watching that come to fruition.
Building
that
world, you know. I hear you.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. I'm excited for that, you know. And if it comes to it, and you guys, you know, want to work together, let's just get it done.
Yeah, I think it'll happen.
Art, you know,
I think it'll happen.
We need to get it done. I'm not trying to rush us, but we need to get it sooner because like it would be nice because we're planning on shooting in the summer, so it'd be nice to have like for you to have time to be able to let it come to you.
I hear you.
You know, because it's like maybe for 3 months you're like, this is the route I'm gonna take with this character, and then 2 weeks before you go, no, I'm gonna do this.
It changes. Yeah. It does for sure. But yeah, no, man, just let me know. I'm always, you know, happy to be involved in anything going on. So yeah, I'm excited for that, especially that it is, you know, it's somewhat of a dream project for you. You know, it's kind of your baby. So you know, it makes it, you know, even more special. So yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, I gotta out this guy quick. So I said that NDA thing, right? The first time I ever worked with him in high school, I was sitting in history class, and I just got this email from him and then one of his friends that they used to work together, and they were like, hey, do you want to be in this or whatever? And I was kind of nervous. I was like, I've never really acted.
What was it called?
It was a business meeting. So I get this email. I'm in high school, and
you're
it's
12,
like,
you're 13.
What's that?
You're 12 or 13.
Oh, no, yeah, I was thinking I was like 13, 14. So I get this email. It's like, come show up. We show up, and they're having us sign all this stuff. I was like, yo.
I'm pretty sure you signed one paper.
We signed a few things. They had us sign like, it wasn't Andrew's doing. It was the other guy and crew or whatever. But they had us doing like NDAs and all that stuff. And I was like, dude,
we had security on that set too. It was a top notch deal.
It was.
We had security and all.
Then there was like security there. There's this. They set up a Chromebook, and the guy watched in the other room. It's comical looking back at the time. We were like, nice, dude.
Yeah, no, I definitely had to sign an NDA for Snack Shack as well. But a lot of it is already public news. So
yeah,
you know. If it comes to it, I would say just cut this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I think we're okay. You know, there's an article out there talking about it, and then coming to Nebraska and all that. So yeah, I'm really excited for that to come out and people to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have never talked to Dalton in any form. Polivka.
Yeah.
But he's somebody else I think it'd be fun to.
Just dropping his name.
Like to work with and the Disciples.
For sure. Like now that you mentioned it, he would definitely be great on that on a role in there for sure. Like that. It's got that vibe. Yeah. There's a lot of
cool stuff that I don't know. Yeah. I want it to be if it's the last thing I ever do, that's fine. But I'm like, I want it to be so quality and notchable to where really it's like
put the time into it.
Yeah, where it can springboard other people too, where they go, hey, this is on my reel, where people can watch and go, oh wow, okay, you did a great job in that, Christian, or like that's really, you really killed that role. That was great. You know, like I want to build it for me on the personal level of like just to have it. But then I also want like the people who are in it to have that shot where it's like they're not just coming in. Like if people want to be an actor and they're in it, they don't just have a scene where they just go like, yeah, this and this.
Yeah, you want to inspire people.
Right. I want people to be able to play to their strengths and really showcase what they have, you know, where it's not a stressful event or anything. But yeah, man. So I'm excited. But Andy, you got anything else?
No.
Can you hear us in your headphones?
What?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. So, dude, seriously, thanks for coming on.
Oh, no, thank you, man.
I appreciate it so much. Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, it's good to get to know you more. So, cool. All right.
Awesome.
I'm in it.
Take these cans off.